Welcome back to Morning Express. Great music break we had there. Valentine's Day it is, and we'll continue to be musical right here on set. I'm joined by Kavutha and Eddie Gray. The Jazz Festival, Safaricom Jazz Festival, is happening later on this month. Starts on the 17th of February to the 23rd of February. So we'll be talking to us a little bit more about that. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
You're keeping with the theme.
We're trying.
You're
Eddie
trying?
Forgot.
Eddie's colorblind.
There's a black hand. I think for the mention
it's the traffic on Mombasa Road. No, nobody
Really?
sent to Mombasa Road a memo, so it's
Nobody,
still
yeah?
So they're not relaxed yet.
So the Jazz Festival, let's first talk about that before we talk a little bit about your music at an individual level. Talk to us about that. Is it the first one? Have we been having them every year?
We've had a couple, but I think it's been a long time since the last one.
Yeah.
So we're hoping this is sort of a long-term solution to the jazz festivals.
Okay.
Jazz is a very, I think, growing trend, so it hasn't been extremely popular in mainstream music.
Yeah.
So this will be the first one. It's a great one. We have a great international act coming, a great local musicians playing as well.
Yes.
So that should be really, really good.
Yeah. When you talk about jazz having not picked up in the country, why is that? What do you make of the fact that it's still not as, at the level we have other types of music in the country?
I think it's just mainly the availability of it. There are not very many people who have access to jazz music. Even some of us jazz musicians, we had to kind of run into it or work extra hard to get the music, at the point at which we were starting, at the playing stage.
Right.
And then so there are not very many people you'd say, let me go on my phone, let me download an MP3 of jazz, or let me go to the nearest music shop and let me buy a CD.
Okay, so you didn't argue it's like some form of an acquired taste?
Eventually you discover that it is, but then just the ability to have it, like I would be sure if I wanted to listen to Indian music today, I would find it, somehow
sure.
I would find it.
Yeah.
But then for jazz, at the very beginning, I remember that it was very difficult to find records, and they were very expensive as well. So that could also have been an element. That it's bougie, I'm not so sure, because even you can look at it from this point. You can argue from this point of view. Many people who actually played jazz in the beginning were not bougie.
Okay.
It was a culture that was actually.
They got bougie with time.
It was bought by the bougie. The bougie would acquire it, but then the guys who actually played it were not bougie.
Were not.
They were playing straight from the heart, straight from the streets.
Yeah.
It was a mix of the raw African American sound with the other slaves from other parts of the world at that time in New Orleans. So it's.
Right.
Yeah.
Kavutha, your thoughts on that same?
Yeah, I think also it's timing. I had someone make a comment that jazz music was the pop music of the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. So with time, it became jazz, and then we moved. Music evolves. Music is growing.
Yeah.
So as a result, it evolved into what we know as sort of R&B or pop. Because they all have their foundations in jazz music.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing like classical music was the pop music of the 1800s. Yeah, so it's just grown. I'm not saying we're stuck in a time warp, but we love the music, and as a result, we want to keep doing it.
Yeah, and you've gone to school to perfect and your craft, and we see a lot of the up and coming. It's just about I sit down, I'm like, oh yeah, so I can sing. Somebody says that.
Okay.
And sorry, I heard that.
She had to do it. She had to. It's Valentine's.
It's Valentine's.
No, and from there, then they begin their music career. But there's been a lot of investment you've both put in as far as what you do is concerned. And what is it that now, looking at our music industry, do you tell, and you are part of the competition program that helps people come up, training them as a voice coach and that. What do you say and what do you speak to that? Is it that we are not taking it seriously in terms of investment, even going to school, and realize that we need to put in the work as well?
That's a good question. I think anybody who does anything well must spend time and must make an investment in their craft. Jazz music especially, because it's completely unforgiving of mistakes, and
really?
From experience, yeah. But it's any craft you do. What you do, you're putting in hours, you're studying, you're researching, you're playing. And for jazz musicians and musicians in general, you must spend the time. And I think it's also become a lot easier to become a superstar. And so as a result, people feel like, I made it anyway. Why do I need to make my investment developing my craft and putting in the man hours that it deserves. So yeah, my encouragement is people to study. And you don't have to go to school. I mean, I can't believe what the world has done, YouTube has done to the world. You know, just the internet has opened up the world. Like Eddie and I were coming here, we were thinking of a song, we could download the music on the internet, and we've been able to go through the chord changes right here. So it's not an excuse, but you must put in the time. You must put in the time.
Do you see that there are many younger people, especially coming up, who just think, just because I sound good, look good, a few people like me, I don't have to put as much time in?
You know, I used to have this very baffling moments, because I think, you know, with all the skill, you know, why doesn't it pay as much as someone who comes and says, Barbara Streisand, ding, 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 you know? And eventually it made sense, because it's a different genre. Pop genre and the jazz culture are quite different, in the sense that, you know, for pop, it's more about popularity and celebrity status. So I would not, if I was a pop musician, I would have no inhibitions, you know, to just go and, you know, remove my shirt and jump from the 7th floor of some building for, you know, for a stunt, because that's what I need. I need to be on the paper. I need to be reviewed every day. But if it's talking about music, concert, performance, jazz music, where people actually come and want to be entertained by the quality of your performance and the music, then it's different, because then this time you have to actually hold your own. You know, you have to practice on your instrument, you have to practice on your voice, you have to be able to listen to other different musicians and compare, contrast what you need to do, what you need to improve on. So it's different. I will never argue again about pop music, because I've discovered that it's just a different culture, and it has different parameters around it, and jazz also has a different kind of...
And you mentioned something, do you think it pays? Would one make a living off of it? Is that also why perhaps you don't have too many people? Because they feel like, because it's not huge in Kenya, many people then will not, if you have a concert, come out and pay this much to watch.
No, I think it does pay.
It does?
It does pay. It might not be... I think what jazz doesn't have is just the popularity, because there are very many jazz musicians every single day in this country of ours who are working. They're playing lots of corporate events, so you will not find them playing big stages every night, but they will be in all the corporate functions. You'll find them in restaurants and in hotels. So just depending on how they manage their contracts, then they can get paid well. But in terms of like one-off performances, gigs, pop music might have a larger pool, but just by the fact that it's popular music. So you'll be able to draw in a crowd, you know, like for example, when we had Sean Paul, I remember very many years ago, when Sean Paul came, it didn't matter whether you knew a million, you know, chords on your guitar or whatever. He would just sing one song, and you'd be guaranteed that by his arrival, you'd have more than 3,000 people.
True.
Understand? So if it's in terms of one-off payoffs, you know, big concerts, then popular music does have an advantage. But as for jazz, it's the music that never dies. You know, I've seen so many changes in what's the in thing now. You know, remember when it was reggaeton, and then it became something else, crunk, and now we have all this electronic fusion music. Right. But for jazz, you know, whoever loves it at the very beginning, it always continues.
Love stays on.
The musicians always play till their 70s, till their 90s. So you could make a longer life with a longer income. Yeah.
All right, Kavutha?
No, I agree completely. I agree completely. I like the fact that for jazz music and for jazz musicians, we'll play till we are done, till the grave. We don't go in and out of fashion. I think that's the thing about jazz music. It's timeless.
It's timeless.
Yeah, because we listen to recordings as old. Like the song we're going to do later is actually written in 1937. Right. And it's still a classic today. Okay, so
and allow you actually on that note to go to the song. So 1937.
1937, this is what we call a jazz standard. It's called My Funny Valentine. It's written by, like I said, it's a jazz standard. Any musician around the world, jazz musician, would know it. Yeah. And so, yeah, My Funny Valentine.
Let's go.
My funny
o'clock. Leave your cameras. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Each day is Valentine's. So it's Valentine's Day today. Has it been every day for you?
Of course,
Really? But if every day is Valentine's, then today's not going to be special.
It's more special because you have to say it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because you have to say it.
Yeah, you have to say it. Today is the day you... I think what Valentine's Day is, it's a time to say that you love somebody. You should tell them you love them every day. It's just a special day. It's like your birthday.
Okay.
You know, it's,
it's
like a special day.
Like
it's
we're
like
glad you're alive.
Yeah,
so
we're glad you're
love
alive. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And so, like, I love you. I've loved you all through the year. But today, I want to take special time to say, you know what?
Yeah.
You're special. And I'm glad you're my life.
And your husband is also, in jazz music as well. And how did you meet? Is it performance? Ukaangalia kwa kona?
I know.
Kamuona?
I should tell his story because he's not here.
Yeah.
No, he's my pal. I can't hear this.
My husband Jacob is a jazz musician in his own right. And I'm very lucky to have married somebody like that. But I thought when I was growing up, I didn't want to marry a musician.
Really?
No, I didn't. I wanted to marry a doctor,
Hater.
a lawyer. No, not a hater. You know, you want somebody with a different sort of outlook in life. But when I found, now we've been married 5 years, and he understands sort of the frustrations that only a musician would understand. You know, and some people think, oh, you guys go home, you sing to each other. He's a jazz pianist.
Have
the whole night. No. We usually, at some point, we talk about songs when they are really, really good, or they are really, really bad. You know, everything in between is sort of, but yes, he's a wonderful jazz musician. I love him dearly. So happy Valentine's, my babe.
Is he watching?
I hope so. He better.
He better be. It's going to be trouble.
Yeah, but yeah. So I'm lucky about that, and he has his he'll be performing as well at the Jazz Festival, and we've been playing together, like I said, for the last 3 or 4 years now.
So were you friends before then? You got into a relationship, or was it you met, love at first sight? Let's do this.
Yeah, I thought he was cute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did. I thought he was cute. I had just come back from studying. Okay, you should be saying that. I came back from studying, and we bumped into each other in sort of these circles that musicians hang out in.
Yeah.
And I thought he was cute, and
did you make the first move?
No. We have different stories, but I guess I'll wait for him to come and tell his side of the story.
You can share your story, though.
Yeah, so I had seen him at an event. We had gone to a training, and I saw him, and I thought he was cute.
Yeah.
He took my phone number. He never called me. And then later we bumped into each other. I say at a gas station. He says something else. And then after that, he said, okay, I'll call you. So we went out, went out on a date, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Is history.
Yeah.
Here you are. 5 years on, you said
5 years on, yeah. 5 years on. We've been married 5 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
I just need I need a moment.
You need a moment?
I want to show off my pink.
Oh, yeah?
It's red, Valentine's.
It's
red.
sorry.
It's red, yeah. It's red, actually, not pink. But to somebody, there's a thin line.
Colorblind.
Colorblind, yeah? What about you? How is this day special? Dating, single, married?
Complicated.
Complicated. That's one of the status updates.
Yeah, I have... today is going to be special, actually, because we are going out to Naivasha later this evening, just for...
Who are the we's?
Myself and my band.
Okay.
We're going out to Naivasha this evening and to entertain a host of couples who are going to be at a prestigious hotel down there. And it's even more special for me today because my mother is this year's Valentine's for me.
Oh, that is so
She's the
sweet.
first person to send me a Valentine's message this morning.
Oh.
So just before I got here, I got about I think 5:59.
Wow.
You know, so I have never received a Valentine's message from my mom. So this was the first one. So it's a little bit more special. I don't know what XOXO means, but I see it in people's whatever when they write messages.
Yeah.
So
your mom said XOXO?
No, I wrote XOXO.
Oh.
You don't know what it means?
No. But I think it's something cool.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh.
It's sweet.
It's sweet.
Okay.
It's sweet. It's
Yeah.
nice.
I don't know whether she'll get it though, but I'm sure. But she's a teacher, so
She'll ask.
Her students will help her out.
Yeah. So your mom is your Valentine this year.
Valentine's this year.
Okay. The concert, the proceeds, I found that very amazing. That they're going to help the less privileged to be able to buy instruments for them, and that in itself is just really beautiful. But give us the details. So it's going to be 17th to 23rd. Where will it be? Who do we expect to be performing there? What time? of the day?
So yeah, it starts the 17th and runs till the 23rd. The 17th to I think the Saturdays, the Fridays, the 21st are smaller concerts at the Michael Joseph Center.
Yeah.
And they're sort of themed nights around the musicians who've come. They're embassies who've come in and have brought musicians. So we have a group from Belgium called the Rhythm Junks. We have a group from Ethiopia, led by someone called Jorge Mesfin, with a group called the Nile Project. And we have an Israeli saxophone musician called Yuval Cohen, who will all perform at the Michael Joseph Center every night.
Okay.
And then on Friday, we'll have what we're calling our Rising Stars moment. And so younger musicians who've just started up and are coming into jazz will get an opportunity to sort of share their talent at the Michael Joseph Center on the Friday. And then the show on Sunday is sort of the grand finale. Is the gates open at 12. The show starts at 2 o'clock. And there are lots of musicians. The local musicians are Eddie, myself, Jacob, Aaron Rimbui, Chris Bitok as local musicians. And then the groups I've mentioned from Belgium, Israel, and the Nile Project, as well as our headliner act, Richard Bona, who's a great jazz musician. So we're very honored to see him. Will be sort of our headline act. Okay. And so we're excited. He's done great. He's from Cameroon. He's African, doing great things in the jazz world. So we're excited.
So for Sunday, the gate open midday. The concert begins at
2 o'clock. Yes.
The other days you start.
The other days I think they need to check online. It's because the space is a lot smaller.
All right.
It's sort of you need to sort of RSVP. So if they call the Michael Joseph Center at Safaricom, they should be able to get the details about how they can get in. I think those ones I'm not sure. Let me not say.
Yeah.
I just know the concert on Sunday is 1,000 shillings, and then 500 for children. So it's not expensive. So it's not a bougie music event. No, it's not bougie at all.
And the decision, for the proceeds to go to help, how will you identify these people who are in need?
The proceeds will go to the Ghetto Classics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's already a group of people, and music changes lives. And I think for Eddie and myself and anybody else who's done music, it has a way of sort of calming and focusing people. So, and it's sad that it isn't sort of a mainstream thing in schooling, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But music is awesome. So an opportunity to give back to young people who never have the opportunity to play a guitar or piano would be great. So that's where the proceeds go.
I used to.
Playing guitar? I'd like to learn actually sometime.
I will teach you.
I'm his manager.
I should go through you. The middle woman. Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and when it is like you're part of all these amazing other, artists performing, what is that experience like for you? Does it always keep you like thinking, I have to make sure every each particular time I'm top of my game, because you do not want to, when you're with your peers.
Yeah, it's true. It's a wise old man once told me this. He said, music is not athletics. So there's definitely not a finish line. You won't get to a place and then guys will say, oh, you are number one. But then at the same time, he says, then it's also not a lunch date where you could just ease out and just wait for things to happen for you.
Yeah.
So you have to keep working. And she said, and like Kavutha said, it's very unforgiving, especially for jazz, because it's true story. People are actually waiting to see something that is it's explanatory of the word jazz, the context of it, which is just improvisation. The difference between us and classical music, because classical music has very gifted musicians as well, guitarists, pianists, horn players. But the difference is that we are expected as jazz musicians to play outside our comfort zone, to improvise into a different realm, and that's what people come out to see. So for me, it's exciting to play with, especially just to share the same stage with some of my fellow local musicians. It's very rare that Aaron and I would be playing in the same event. And maybe once I played at his festival, at his concert, but it's also a pleasure to just have my band interact with his, and have my band interact with Jacob's and with Chris Bitok's band as well. But the highlight for me, for sure, will be having to see Richard Bona live.
Live in
I haven't watched him live. I've studied him. I've played his music for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
So to actually finally see the master on bass do his thing, and it's very entertaining. That's one of the few jazz musicians that I could actually call a pop star, because he is not just clinical in his performance, but it's also very, very entertaining. So
Okay.
looking forward to
So
that.
as we bring this to a close very quickly, why should people come for the festival? We're here talking about it. There's going to be all those amazing people performing, but why should they come? And also for you, Kavutha, you talked about the last time we had one, it was a while back. In terms of consistency, what would it take to make sure every year Kenyans can look forward to perhaps a jazz festival, a huge event?
Those are two questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, why should they come? I think it will be an experience for us also to say, like we've said, we're going to see Richard Bona live,
Right.
but you never know. And you never know. You will also say you saw Eddie and Kavutha live, you know, and we know great things are going to come out of that. And in terms of consistency, we're going to tell people support jazz musicians, like support real jazz musicians.
Yeah.
Don't ask them to compromise their standards, and it's come to us. Play other stuff that's not in our realm. So support us, go out, support us, buy our albums, come see us at gigs. Because if you create that culture, there will be a void. There will be a void that is, as a result, being filled by the festival.
Okay.
So come out, support us, play our music, call us, give us gigs. Because if we're not surviving, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't keep
Then the
playing it.
And
consistency
also,
will
I
not
think
happen.
listening to the rehearsals that have been done by different bands, this should be the best performance by any jazz musician in Nairobi
Yeah.
in many years.
Yeah.
People, guys are really upping their game. I've listened to a few rehearsals, and it's going to be a great show.
Okay. Eddie, Greg, Kavutha, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All
Thank
the
you.
best
Thank
to
you.
the festival. I look forward to perhaps coming one of those days.
All
Should
right.
be fun. And we're glad you're watching Morning Express. The boys at KTN, some are running late, some are here, but we'll talk to them in a short while. Ben Kitili, they're not so happy about me calling them boys. James Smart and John Alanamu will all join me on set. So don't go away. We'll be back in a moment.